Hello. Good afternoon. Today I greet you from Asunción, Paraguay. The truth is that I wanted to make this video. I had thought about waiting to get to Mar del Plata to my studio, but there are so many new developments, there is so much that happens every day in Paraguay. The truth is that I didn't want to waste any more time to be able to share with all of you these beautiful things that happen in Paraguay. Well, I tell you. As you know, on August 15th, it is now August 22nd, the new president Santiago Peña or Santi Peña, as he is known here in Paraguay, took office. Well, look how impressive. The truth is that after having heard the speech on the 16th in the auditorium of the Central Bank, he gave a speech that I must admit, it made me very envious. Why are we in the rest of Latin America? And let's not even mention what Argentina is with this current clown Alberto Fernandez, who we had to do is talk stupid things. Well, a speech that is perfection and gestures aside. First day of work, you could say, where he went to meet with businessmen. He and his Minister of Finance spoke in a speech of excellence. Not just historical knowledge of what has happened to Paraguay. And the slogan of this meeting, was the resurgence of a giant. The truth is that Paraguay has truly understood what has happened. It was a country that in the 19th century, in 1850, was the most developed country in Latin America, the first country to have railroads, the first country to have a shipping industry. The first shipyards were built here in Paraguay, and that was due to the Triple Alliance War. These three countries, Argentina, Uruguay, and the Empire of Brazil, obviously following the majority, and the beautiful thing in Paraguay also knows it, that the truth is that these three brother countries in this fratricidal war acted merely as puppets of the international powers, specifically of the Anglo-Saxon world. Particularly from England. And also in this video I am going to talk a little about history, because you have to understand the big context, the global geopolitical context. And to understand it you also have to understand history, how it has progressed. That is why the resurgence of a giant, forgive me. I am going to change the slogan to return to what we were. Paraguay is going to return to what it was. It is going to regain that preponderant place within the rest of the nations and particularly within the rest of Latin America and South America in particular. The geographical location of Paraguay makes it the center, and it is already being established and is already being seen by the level of business that exists in the hub, not only logistical, because it will interconnect via the transoceanic or bioceanic route it will connect. The seas of the Atlantic, the ports of Brazil with the ports of Chile and Peru, that is, the merchandise that enters from Asia or that is going to leave for Asia, that comes from Europe or that is going to go through Europe, will go through Paraguay. Returning to the president's speech, which was excellent historical knowledge without resentment. One who sees in Argentina so much resentment for what has happened in recent decades. The Paraguayan has integrated it, has understood what has happened to him and moves forward. Look towards the future, but with crystal clear clarity. Then they talked about history. They talked about economics. And here it is important to take into account the resume from which the current president comes. He comes from academia. He trained at Columbia University in public policy. Later he was the Minister of Finance of Paraguay and then he was in the private sector. In other words, this is not what we know in Argentina, who have only known the breast of the state. The only thing they know is to have a fixed salary from the state that always provides. So they don't know what's happening to the private sector, that's why. one of the points why Argentina continues to live this dystopia. Not only what he said, but the gesture was very important. On the first day of work he is going to talk to the businessmen. Second day of work. The president was in São Paulo, at the Getúlio Vargas Foundation, with Brazilian businessmen. Let us remember that in foreign direct investment in Latin America, the first investor is Brazil. Second investor is Chile and then comes Bolivia. We are there a little further back, Argentina, and that is also the reason for this video. The political context of Argentina is going to be about deciding for the businessman what he wants to do. If you opt for stability, then in this. Although Paraguay has a stability that can be said in La Moneda, in its inflation that has been going on for 20 years, with the president's speech that clarified main points. There will be no tax increase. Let's forget, that is, 5 years with this same tax system. Yes, there will be a rate discount for productive activities. That is, an improvement in conditions for those people who come to invest in productive activities. This tells us that we are going to have 5 more years of stability, and I congratulate the Paraguayan people who have once again chosen stability and have once again chosen this uninterrupted path of growth for more than 20 years. And in that wonderful speech that the president had, it is something, a characteristic that Paraguay has here, that also makes a difference. It is the state that comes out to call on businessmen, those who invest in those sectors of the economy that the country needs. Well, he listed a couple of sectors. I'm going to make a separate video for that, but I don't have more to tell you. It was apart, so warm. The truth is that the luxury they have as president is incredible, so I don't think he's going to see me, nor do I think he's seeing me, nor do I think he's going to see me, but the truth is that nobility obliges. Dear brother president, we will be there to continue supporting Paraguay, for this great country that, thanks to politicians like you, without a doubt these 5 years will be one of tremendous growth. So count on us, dear brother president. And well, I hope I have the honor of being able to meet you at some point and chat. Returning to the Argentine situation, but which also applies in many points to the rest of the countries of South America and much more even to Europe. Why? Clearly now more than ever, if investing abroad in general was something convenient, what is going to happen for Argentina is going to be almost mandatory. As in a video that I published today, and investing abroad. Not for us Argentines. But this in many points coincides with issues that are happening in the rest of South America and also in Europe. Today we can invest outside of risk and political and social instability, especially in jurisdictions where there is low taxation or reasonable taxation. Paraguay is not a tax haven. Paraguay has a reasonable taxation. You pay 33310 of VAT, 10 of VAT, 10 of profit for an individual and 10 for corporate income. Nothing else. So, given the particular instability that there will be in Argentina in possible scenarios, the most likely thing that will happen in the next elections is that Javier Milei wins, which you will tell me, wow, how good for the people who work, how good for the people who produce, how good for the people who invest. Perfect. Great, I agree. But you think that Kirchnerism and Peronism in general are going to let him govern? That the unions are clearly going to have to remove one of the anchors that Argentina has. And there, to me, to my dear colleagues from Argentina who are dedicated to the labor sector, one of the anchors for which Argentina is, I can't move forward. It is the labor regime. That's going to have to be corrected. Much to the dismay of my colleagues who live nothing more than a guy who worked 3 months and a day in a company, tomorrow he leaves. He says that he was fired and an SME has to close because of that trial. Well, that is clearly going to have to disappear if we want to continue, if we are interested in continuing to advance as a country, not for Argentina. Whoever has invested in certain assets, such as real estate, in the face of strong social conflict such as there may be. Yes, with the Macri government we had the famous fat man with the mortar. A guy who in the middle of the square threw mortars at a police officer. Let's imagine if a truly liberal, progressive government, that is, one that is interested in the nation progressing, what is going to happen with Peronism and with these areas of Trotskyism and Kirchnerism? The big guys with the machine guns are going to come, not the big guy. Of the mortar. So the option for the investor is clearly absolute instability of Argentina, relative instability of European countries and the rest of the Latin American countries. Trust in a president like Boric in Chile. Trust in a president like Lula, who in the face of the first economic fall will continue to capture income from the private sector, from those who generate wealth or continue with stability. Continue with an upward path of progressive stability. If we saw a graph of Paraguay's economy, we would see it on a stable upward slope when Paraguay enters, is classified as investment grade and global investment funds enter Paraguay. The economy is going to be like this, it is going to enter what is called momentum, it is going to accelerate. So the truth is, the recommendation is to invest now that there are still interesting prices to enter. And that is another of the differences. Above all, Argentines continue to think about investing in places like Miami, investing in places like some states in the United States. Miami today has the highest relative prices in its history. So this, if we make an analogy, would be like investing in Bitcoin when it was $6,362,000. Instead, and do not invest when Bitcoin, which is now $29.28, or when it hit the floor of 20. Sometimes I get investment proposals that really bother me. I don't know if they cause me amusement, panic, and the saddest thing, I really congratulate those who manage to sell those products to someone. I don't know how they do it, and I don't know what goes through the minds of those who invest in those places. They come to me for great promotions. Invest in the United States real estate market. Where do they offer you to invest? Invest in Philadelphia. Someone knows, but it is not necessary to meet in person. Grab YouTube and put on zombie cities in the United States. I don't know where the properties are that supposedly do big business in Philadelphia, that offer you that great investment possibility in a city that you made 2 blocks, you made 10 blocks, and you find people lying down, ruined, destroyed, taking drugs in the street with that drug known as fentanyl or the zombie drug. I invite you to learn about. Google or search on YouTube what zombie cities in the United States are and are the replica of Walking Dead, the science fiction series brought to reality. The only thing that until now, as far as I know, is that they are not eating each other, which I don't know how long it will take. In other words, they invite you to invest in a place like Philadelphia. They invite you, like another big business, to invest in Seattle. The same thing happens. It is one of the cities with the most homeless in the entire United States. Around 15,000 people live on the streets, in tents. The slums that are known in Argentina are tents with crowded people, with syringes bordering all those tents, tents at best, if they are not nylon. The slums of Argentina are the Fifth Avenue. And next to that, Another classic market for the United States. Invest Los Angeles, also one of the cities with the highest unemployment, the highest rate of violence, and the highest number of homeless people as well. Then there is New York. Very nice on the Fifth Avenue. In the tourist places you did 20 blocks, and it is also, if it is not Walking Dead, it is another horror science fiction series. And on the other hand, here in Paraguay, not only, as I always say, they treat us well, I am in the middle of Asunción. Not to mention if you are going to settle or do business in beautiful cities like Encarnación. Don't worry. I walk the dog here at 2 o'clock without anyone bothering me. You meet someone in the morning and they say, "Good morning," then, and everything is yet to unfold. So this combination of circumstances means that Paraguay, in relation to other countries or other places to locate investments, is positioned increasingly better. I inform you, if you did not know, that last year on 2022, Paraguay had an increase in foreign direct investment of 129% more than the previous year. This is becoming more and more of a boom. I hope that as the Brazilians are already seeing it, I hope that as the Europeans are seeing it every time, as I said, Germans, Austrians from all over Europe are coming to Paraguay. I hope that we Argentines realize that I also think it is my role to raise awareness of what is happening in Paraguay, which Brazilians already saw long before. Europeans are seeing it, but in large quantities. Going to a café today in Asunción is to meet and listen to several Austrian and German languages who have already seen the opportunities that Paraguay presents to us. As the great Spanish businessman, who lived in Paraguay for more than 40 years, says when I had the honor of meeting him. The first sentence that the person I am referring to tells me is Belarmino Fernández Lorayans. He is the owner of Herba, a real estate developer. Well, and it's a group. The Arcaiana group tells me, do you know who? Who does it depend on? How will it go for a foreign investor? It depends on the person who will receive you at the airport. This joke that he makes to me with all that knowledge is also a reality. Know that like any country that is receiving so much foreign investor, the birds are desperate to find where they can get some ill-gotten money. So know that investing, even though we are close, even though Paraguay is an extremely friendly country for foreign investment, know that there are many people who are waiting with the knife between their teeth to see who they will stick that knife into. So that's what we're here for, so that you have a soft landing, so that we can chat. What type of investor are you? That is fundamental. What do you like to invest in? What do you expect from an investment? If you need to have an income the day after you make the investment, you can wait a few years, 2 or 3 years, for that investment to bear fruit. So well, to advise you on all these issues, here I am in Paraguay or Argentina, so that we can chat and get to know each other and that you can have an investment, above all, calm, safe, without any problems. Well, I hope you liked it and found the information I gave you interesting. And excuse me for being very vehement when I talk about Argentina, and especially because the difference is very. It is too shocking, what we are experiencing in Paraguay and what we are experiencing in Argentina, and I hope I am wrong, but very conflictive moments are coming. These people who are leaving are not going to leave so easily. And when they are, if they are not in power, they know that the historical way they have had to re-enter power. Stealing from the state again and stealing from all Argentines again is through generating chaos in society, destabilizing governments to say we are the saviors. So the choice between absolute stability and macro instability, as in Argentina, and to a lesser extent in other countries in Europe and the rest of the Latin American context. I think the truth is that Paraguay gets a 10. So well, we're seeing each other. Bye bye.